Welcome to Real Talk Real Estate. I'm your host, David Green, and today we're going to be talking about where to go when you have a property with negative cash flow. In case you didn't know, cash flow is the difference between the income you collect from a tenant in rent and the expenses that you have when you operate a property. This could include taxes, insurance, your mortgage, repairs, capital expenditure. When you have vacancy, all this together, real estate can be expensive to own, so you don't always make money with it every month. Now, cash flow is the reason most people get into real estate investing. They're trying to replace income that they make in one way that they don't like their job, with income that they make in another way that they do like, which is real estate. And for years, it was much easier to get cash flow than where it is today. And that's because there is simply an imbalance of supply and demand. Too many landlords are chasing after too few properties and too few tenants. And that has driven the cost of real estate high. And then a couple years ago, when interest rates went up, cash flow basically evaporated in most markets. And now you have to have a lot of money to put down, come across a really good deal, or have something else creative to help you get there. Now, Elijah submits his question today, and he's in a position that a lot of other people are in. They own a good asset. They have equity in that asset. They like the asset. It's performing well, but it's actually losing them money every month. Now, this flies in the face of conventional wisdom that has told investors for years that the only reason that they should invest in real estate is to get that cash flow. And today we're going to be talking about if that is true and in what circumstances you should keep a property that's losing you money and in which you might want to sell it. All right, let's get to Elijah.
All right, David, one shaved head to another, one YouTuber to another. Thank you for taking my question.
All right, 2 shaved heads, 2 YouTubers, and 2 young men that look exactly like Channing Tatum. This is creepy.
So I have 3 properties. One I own outright with a tenant and has an old home equity line of credit on it that I haven't used. I can't really get more for that because I'm not living there. That's in South Carolina. My second property is in South Carolina. I need to either rent it or sell it. And if I rent it with taxes going up because it's no longer my primary, it will not cash flow or be maybe a little bit of a negative, but it's built in 2017. It's a townhouse. It's in great shape. If I sold it, I could get 20 or 30K, maybe put that into like a property management business I'm thinking about doing. And then the final property I'm in that I cannot house hack, David,
Elijah clearly has watched my content before, as he knows that I am very prone to giving advice leaning towards house hacking. So he's already thought of this and he knows it's not going to happen. Good work there, Elijah.
I have a mortgage on and I'm living here with my family. So what should I do with that second property? Rent or sell? I could get like 20 or 30,000 if I sell.
All right, so Elijah can sell this property and he thinks that he can walk away with $20,000 or $30,000 in equity, but he's losing $100 a month is what my notes show here if he tries to keep it. Now, something I love about this video is that Elijah didn't leave me in the dark trying to figure out, well, what would you do with that money? He already has a plan. If he takes that $20,000 or $30,000 of equity, not only is he saving the $100 a month that he's currently losing, but he'd be able to put it into a future property management business, which he's thinking about starting. And that I like. So in essence, what Elijah would be doing is trading an asset that's losing $100 a month to build an asset like a business that could be making more. Now, if that business just breaks even, he's already ahead, right? But here's where it becomes tricky. That property is probably not going to be losing $100 a month in perpetuity forever. In fact, the rents are probably going to go up a little bit. And at some point it breaks even. And at some point it starts to make money. And what if that equity continued to grow? It's 20 to 30 right now. But what if it becomes 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, $100,000 in the future? I don't know what kind of market that is in South Carolina, but I do know that South Carolina is growing and is expected to grow. In fact, I'm going to be visiting there pretty soon to look into moving myself. So now, Elijah, your business not only has to make more than the $100 a month that the property is losing, but it has to grow at a rate equal to or faster than the asset itself. What do you think about starting a property management business that's going to grow and be worth more than the house would be worth? You also got to remember that with every mortgage payment, you're paying down that principal balance, and there's some value there as well. So that's my question to you. Are you committed to doing this, Elijah? Are you actually going to start this business, and do you believe that that business can bring in more income than the house? Because if so, I think you should sell the home. You should invest into this business. You should take the money that the business makes, and you should use it to reinvest and buy another home or 10 that don't lose money but make money. And if you can't find a house that makes money, save up more money from the business and put a bigger down payment down until you do get a house that makes money. Now you've got a business that makes money and a house that makes money and money from the business to buy another house that makes more money. And the next thing you know, you're making money in several ways instead of losing money in one way. And if you keep your head shaved exactly like it shows, you'll run much faster, you'll have less wind resistance, and I think you'll get there quicker. A 2021 Bigger Pocket survey shows that 35% of investors prioritize long-term appreciation over immediate cash flow, especially in booming markets. These investors hold properties betting on significant value increases. So 35% of investors at this point have woken up and realized that they can make a lot more money in equity growth than they can in simple cash flow. Real estate developers face their worst cash flow in 5 years. And via the investor.vn, expert Din the Hein says that real estate developers are facing their worst cash flow in 5 years due to economic hurdles and maturing bonds. So this is a market that is very difficult to make cash flow, but there are still some appreciation plays. So play what the market gives you. Just remember, you can't have no cash flow forever. You have to replace the money that you're losing, if you're going to lose it in cash flow, with something else, like a business, like other properties that cash flow, like a W-2 job, like living beneath your means, like playing good defense. See what I'm saying? If you're going to bleed a little bit of blood, you got to get a blood transfusion from somewhere else, or else you'll die. And that's what we don't want. Now, what is everybody else doing? Because Elijah, you're not alone in this boat. There's a lot of people that own assets. They're good assets. They did a good job, but they're also facing this cash flow crisis. Maybe that's what I should start calling it. That's a really controversial title. And they say that controversy sells. What do you guys think? Should I get some face tattoos? Would that make the channel grow faster? Comment below if you think I should get a face tattoo and what you think I should get. All right, let's look at what some other people are saying here. I remember in my own career, the point where it hit me like a ton of bricks, how foolish of an investor I was being. I was buying California real estate early in my career, and I was only buying it for cash flow. And the price of the real estate kept going up, 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 up. And it got to the point that it was too high to cash flow, and I was sulking. I was so upset. It's like, this sucks. What was the point of even learning how to invest in real estate if I can't find cash flow? I'm never going to get out of the rat race. Poor me. And I was completely oblivious to the fact that real estate had made me a literal millionaire. I was walking around as a millionaire for about a year and a half and had no idea that I was a millionaire because I didn't even look at equity. And then I found that I could go to other markets that did cash flow, which for me at that time was Phoenix. And had I pulled my head out of my butt, I could have sold some of that California real estate and bought 6 or 7 times as much in Arizona, where it did cash flow. Now, I didn't have YouTube videos. I didn't have podcasts. I didn't have books. I didn't have mentors. I didn't know any of this stuff. I had to learn it the hard way, which is why I'm making content like this for you all right now. But instead of feeling sorry for yourself when life throws you lemons, ask how they could be used to benefit you, like making that proverbial lemonade. If it's an appreciation market, make sure you're buying in areas where you're going to get appreciation, and make sure you keep earning money so that you don't run out. If it's a cash flow market, go all in on that cash flow. But you got to take what the defense gives you. You can't force anything in this world of real estate sales. And speaking of different states to invest in, now after Arizona, I ended up buying in Jacksonville, Florida. And speaking of different states to invest in, we do have a question from viewer T Ford, who says, are you investing on the Forgotten Coast of Florida? Jonathan, do you think Forgotten Coast is a real coast, or is that a joke? Well, I actually haven't forgot about Florida, and neither has 90% of the rest of the country, because it seems like that's where everybody is moving right now. I am still investing in Florida. I bought 3 pretty expensive properties in South Florida and actually ran across some significant hurdles with the local municipalities completely screwing me over, doing the walkthroughs to give me my short-term rental permits, and then tagging me for work that I didn't even do. We're talking about a carport that was converted into a garage without permits sometime in the 60s, a pergola that was built in the backyard without a permit that was too big, the kitchen remodel that was done before I bought it, bathrooms that were added in the 1930s without permits. And they came in on several different properties and they shut my entire property down until I got permits to fix that stuff, because they don't want short-term rentals in their neighborhood. They're playing very dirty. Now, I don't blame the state of Florida. In fact, I believe Governor DeSantis is actually signing legislation into effect that gives the state the authority to manage short-term rentals, not the cities, because that tells me that I'm not the only person this is happening to. It's incredibly annoying. We're talking about 2 years of time that my properties have had the power turned off to them, and I cannot get them up and running, and I cannot get them sold because of these red tags, and the city will not cooperate with me on getting these things fixed. It's a terrible scenario to be in, and a lot of that's in Florida. So yes, I still bought there. I regret it at this point because it's going terribly. Thank you, T Ford, for bringing up fresh wounds. I'm going to need to take a quick break to cry. I'll be back in a second. All right. During that quick cry break, I did learn that the Forgotten Coast is actually the panhandle of Florida. And yes, I'm investing there too. I bought an apartment complex there with my buddy Andrew. We opened that up and we let some investors get on that deal. By the way, if you're in on that deal, you're crushing it right now at the same time that everybody else is bleeding money and losing money in syndications. These investors are probably going to get a 15% return at a time when everybody else is actually losing money. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I forgot about that. That is a beautiful lone star in a dark night sky of pain in the Florida investment portfolio of David Green. All right, let me know what you thought about today's video. Are you in a similar situation where you've got property that is not cash flowing, but you really feel in your heart like you want to keep it? Let me know in the comments what the story is. Tell me where you're investing and let me know if you've had a similar situation like I went through with a city that's absolutely messing with you and destroying your life and eating all your steak, much like Uncle Rico in Napoleon Dynamite. Also, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share this with somebody that you love. Like the content, and if you would like to be featured on a future YouTube episode with me, and if you would like to be featured on a future episode of Real Talk Real Estate, make sure you click the link in the description and submit your video. Thanks, everyone.